Gary.
Seinfuck.
Well, I'd like to thank you guys for meeting me here today. As you know, we're in the process of arbitrating Robert's contract because we couldn't reach a settlement.
That's true. This is the last episode on the contract. You know, my added stipulation of belly scritches, it just didn't work out in the negotiation process.
I'm sorry, I just can't. It's just a ridiculous demand. And thank you for mediating, arbitrating, Malcolm. I really appreciate you being here on behalf of the Seinfuck Podcasters Association.
I just don't think belly scritches are a bridge too far. I mean, am I being unreasonable? No, I don't think I am. Am I very funny and handsome and valuable to the Seinfuck brand? Of course I am. Who could argue against that?
And, well, it's very nice that you want these things for yourself. Obviously, we support you in this decision. It's just, it's going to take away from the time I spend fingering your ass.
What is happening?
This is just a condensed version of the SAG.
Yeah.
Or the writers. Yeah.
The Screen Actors Guild. What are they doing?
We thought it was about wages or residuals. It's really just like an executive who wants his balls tickled.
Robert, I think that the ass finger is something that goes on outside the parameters of the contract. I don't think the actors wanted or asked for it.
Contract, schmontrack. I mean, everyone's got to pay to play, don't they?
I'm so hungry. I'm so hungry.
For dick.
Malcolm's so hungry.
No,
He's a hungry boy.
Hungry for pussy.
That honestly sounds worse. I'm hungry for dick. Put it back to that.
It's just like, no, fuck, that's disgusting.
No, I'm sorry. I'm hungry for dick. I don't know.
I never do that.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, for whatever reason, it feels more crass when it's like, oh, hey girl, I'm hungry. You want to get a meal? You'll be my meal.
I'm gonna eat that puss.
Let me eat you one time, baby.
Oh, one time.
One time this time.
No, don't put it in the fucking cha-cha. Not the cha-cha
I'm
slide.
ruining the cha-cha slide.
Well, let's move on to the next item on the agenda.
We're not going to address any of that conversation. Let's just move on.
We love callbacks here on the Seinfuck podcast.
Yeah, it's basically 90% of what we do.
Yeah, even though we've declared early on that we're not going to do callbacks.
Yeah. We specifically set out to never do callbacks. Malcolm said every time we do a callback, the next time he sees me in person, it's a nut shot.
Yeah, listen, guys, let me replace you with AI, all right? I don't understand what the problem is, all right? You signed your voice.
Sasha already tried to feed my voice into an AI, and all it came back with was sad stories about me dislocating my jaw or drinking too much. So it's really accurate, but is it good?
It was like complaining of dying of cancer one time, wasn't it?
No, I mean, meta joke aside, yes, there was a point where was it on episode that we talked about that?
Yeah, it must have been.
Was it actually on episode? Okay, I can't remember if it was just some random like voyeuristic thing Sasha sent me.
Voyeuristic.
Can you insert the AI voice thing, Sasha, if you get a chance? Just a little taste there. Nothing too long.
That might be a little much. I don't know how well, but if there is like an actual like AI voice of myself that you could get.
Leute, ich bin so traurig, weil ich so einen großen Penis habe. Und warum kauft niemand mein Buch?
And Sasha, if you don't have it, you can just do a Robert impression and
just use the Obama voice again.
Embrace it, brother.
I can't believe Obama actually pardoned Sasha from answering the mother-girlfriend swap question.
Oh yeah, and manslaughter. I think that was a little more important.
What, the girlfriend question? I agree. I mean, but you never know who's going to get pardoned next. I wanted to talk about this new Spy Kids movie.
We're recording, as we always do, we're going to date the podcast immediately. We're recording this on the day that Pee Wee Herman, Paul Reubens, has passed away. So Paul Reubens is dead.
A celebrity who once a blackout drunk woman compared me to at a stand-up.
Did they?
she was like one of the actual crazies who'd go up on mic every night. And then I had the terrible misfortune of going up right after her. And then like I'm standing like off stage because it wasn't a very big stage. Because it was one of like the back rooms. It definitely wasn't the main stage.
Oh yeah, you were doing stand up in the back rooms.
Yes, this was a back room, not the back.
To get to the show, you had to complete the back rooms, and then you got
the
stage
weird
time.
string monster. I had to fight it anyway.
Yeah.
So I'm in the back room, one of this comedy club, and there's a small stage. There's like maybe 40 people in the room, and she goes up, and she is one of the people who go up every single night, and I'm waiting off to the side of the stage to go on and do my set. And she's like 1 minute over, 2 minutes over, 3 minutes over. This is like a 4 or 5 minute open mic. Most people end early. And she's just like up there for 10 fucking minutes.
Do you remember any of the material?
It was not good. It was really like she'd do the mumbling thing where she'd kind of go off mic for a little bit, and then it would go, she'd get back on, then she'd not. But as I'm waiting to go up on stage immediately after her, she like eventually the guy running the show just kind of grabs the mic from her, and she sort of like acquiesces. But he hands the mic to me, and still getting caught on the mic. It's not like it's a big room. People would have heard anyway. She's just like, oh, this guy looks like Pee Wee Herman. And I'm like, I don't look like Pee Wee Herman. And I'm thinking back on this now. Pee Wee, oh no,
the audience
Pee-wee.
chanted Pee Wee at you and started throwing their fucking drinks at your feet.
Yes, exactly. That 100% happened. But I just think about it now because I'm looking at people are posting all these pictures of him as a teenager, and I'm just like, oh God, that looks like me. It looks like me as a teenager. She just had some like past sight. She knew what Pee Wee Herman looked like as a teen, so she knew what I looked like.
No, someone just stretched Pee Wee in the Oblivion character creator slightly. It does look a lot like you if you do that.
Just what the fuck, man?
I'm just saying.
I just got a Halloween idea. That's all I got now.
Oh, dude, that would be fun. I got it. We could all be Pee Wee's Playhouse. Robert can be Pee Wee. I'll be the talking chair, and Malcolm could be the popcorn he hides his dick in the movie theater.
Listen, he got a lot of shit for jerking off in an adult cinema. I don't get it. Like, that was one of those arrests.
Theater. It's not like he did it to the Lizzie McGuire movie or anything like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You're still not supposed to jerk off there.
Well, why? What's the point of an adult cinema? Like, you want those?
Do you think that
floors?
people in the adult cinema are jerking off?
I mean, for Christ's sake.
Yes, I want those
People
floors to be
fuck
sticky.
in normal movies. Like people, I've been sitting down next to someone or a couple while they fuck. It's ridiculous.
The idea is that you go there in like a trench coat at night, and you're like, not sure if you're stepping on cum or gum.
It comes off your shoe.
And,
you
know that there's like 5 or 6 guys around. And then you're like watching the movie. It's a communal. You know what happened to communal experiences, all right? Like what happened to
what happened to the Turkish
We're really
bath?
losing out on the lack of third spaces in our society.
There's no bonding.
Libraries, porno theaters. We're really missing out.
Cultural
this American
epicenters.
Experiment is really fucked up.
Let's be real. He was probably watching gay porn.
I actually have no idea if he was straight or gay. That's actually funny.
Well, quick, Google it.
He could be bi. Let's call him a bi king.
Pee Wee or Paul Reubens, Pee Wee Herman.
Right up there with Freddie Mercury in the bi kings category.
Yes, he was the last. He played the last surviving Habsburg in 30 Rock.
He played Mr. Vargas in 5 episodes of The Blacklist on NBC. Yeah, that's it. Like The Blacklist ran for 10 seasons, 218 episodes. And I can tell you that I watched maybe 5 episodes when it came out, and then I assumed it just ended. It's like NCIS. That show has not ended. That show still is on the air. And even like,
wouldn't know.
I even feel like my grandmother, who's 80 years old, has aged out of the show. Like I think she's like 2 years.
You age out of the show.
Why can old people watch NCIS with such rapt attention? But I put on Star Trek and they're like, I'm bored, like this is stuff that came out when you were a kid, Grandma. And she's like, put on NCIS.
Those grandmas are hot and horny for Mark Harmon.
Do not talk about
And
my
they
grandma
can't
like
be
that.
hot and horny for fucking not Neil Patrick. I am Patrick
Neil
Stewart.
Patrick
Jesus.
Harris.
I mean, they can be hot and horny for Neil Patrick Harris if they want, but they're not fucking horny for Patrick Stewart or fucking.
Grandmas love the 3 different actors. They love Mark Harmon. They love Scott Bakula.
I can't get over Picard in the in the holodeck. And like,
in the holodeck, yeah.
computer, Pee-wee's Playhouse. Pee-wee Herman in a French maid outfit.
The mailman has arrived.
I think you'll find the secret word of the day, Mr. Herman, is prostate stimulation.
Cock and ball torture. Is
God rest his soul. I'm sorry for making that joke.
No, it's funny.
No, I was gonna say I was gonna go back to Spy Kids. I
was about to bring it back.
Yeah,
there as well.
we did bring up Spy Kids and then 180.
I was gonna say that Robert got cast as Junie in the new Spy Kids.
She says a 29-year-old man.
And that kid ended up marrying Megan Trainor, the singer, which is crazy as well.
I am so sorry.
That's crazy. He has to listen to her talk all the time. You ever heard Megan Trainor's voice?
You know, no time. Shut
The fact.
But they hired Zachary Levi for the new Spy Kids. Why couldn't they just do like Orlando Bloom or another like vaguely Hispanic actor?
Yo, Orlando Bloom would have been pretty fire in the role. I bet he turned it down though because it's a Spy Kids movie.
You know, like, guys, everyone loves Chuck. Remember Chuck? And then everyone boos him. No, boo!
People loved Chuck. Don't you remember?
Mitch Marner on the NHL Twitter today was seen hitting the gritty at his wedding, and I've never been more embarrassed.
That's
You know what? If you're hitting the gritty at your wedding, you probably are too young to get married. I think that's a fair statement.
Oh yeah,
If you're
absolutely.
grittying at the wedding and you're the groom, you know. Here's the thing. I shit a lot on the fact that hockey players have no personalities, and Mitch Marner really doubled down on the fact that they don't.
Mitch Marner heard that and said, "All right, bet Malcolm, I'm gonna hit the gritty on the aisle."
Yeah, no, we're gonna be like, "What is this? 2018? Like, come on!"
So he's doing the gritty, and then he acts like his leg got hurt because it looks like that setup for the stanky leg that they do.
Yeah. Like ow, and then they start rotating the leg.
But he doesn't do the stanky leg. He just goes back to hitting the gritty.
That doesn't make sense.
It doesn't. But his wife tried to do the gritty in her dress. It was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen in my life. He's 26 and hitting the gritty. There's no hope.
There's no hope whatsoever. Anyway, I don't trust people younger than like 25. Even then, it's iffy.
If you can't remember 9/11, you're not a real person. It's my rule.
So okay, so this guy hit the gritty. How was that related to your segment?
What?
You had a segment, didn't you? Or was it just the hitting the gritty?
I just wanted to talk about Mitch Marner hitting the gritty at his wedding and how embarrassing that is for the Toronto Maple Leafs.
How old is his girlfriend? Or I guess his wife now.
I assume same age, maybe a year or two younger.
Same age plus, I'm going to say +1. What's the over-under on you guys? Older?
I'm going to say she's probably like 22.
22?
I think she's like maybe 24. She could be 24, she could be 27. It's really hard to say.
She looks much older than him.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? They all get married to the same woman, right? Like they're all
chance.
Wait, are you saying that hockey is polyamorous?
Basically, like, have you not seen?
There's a lot of scandals.
Have you not seen the fact that like every hockey player's first wife is like the same like basic blonde woman?
No.
Like
Yes.
if you just like go and look at like at hockey, like if you look up like NHL players, it's like engagement or wedding while they're like playing. It's all the same fucking woman. They all look the same. They have the same like haircut. They all have the same smile. They're all like, I hate to say it, it's like base. Yeah, they're basic blonde.
They're very basic.
You know, like
Conventionally attractive women. This is what you're saying. That's who you're putting on blast right now.
They look like they listen to country
Well,
music.
I'm putting on black. They look very Aryan, all right? Like
Very Aryan. What's your NHL article, Malcolm? So we can just
well, it's
protest
interesting. So my thing is that apparently, I thought this was maybe what you're referring to, is that There's an NHL player. His name is Alex Wennberg, and he's married to a basic blonde
Yes, the Kraken BookTok. I've been wanting to bring this up. That's so funny.
Okay,
so
talk.
we're all
Let's
right.
do it.
It's not hockey. Okay, well,
This is not really hockey. It is related to hockey.
tangentially.
We're not on, but we may have to be on BookTok to promote our works at some point.
Fuck that.
No. It's very important that we get reviewed by a book talker who's read smut recently about like podcasters.
Yeah, so where someone fucks a bear or something. Okay, go on.
You'll fuck the bear because you'll be like, it's going to be you trying to fight a bear, and then instead you fuck the bear.
And then we get into a loving relationship, and we raise
My newest copy of The Bussy, the Bear, and Robert.
like the Lion, the Witch, and the Robe wardrobe. The Bussy, the Bear.
I put on this robe and suddenly I'm somewhere else.
I put on the robe and all of a sudden I'm surrounded by bear dicks.
Why don't you explain to Robert so we can be on the same level here?
Yeah, context for me and the listener if they're not a very big hockey person.
So basically, BookTok, there's like a series of like very popular romance novels set around like hockey, and particularly like a hockey player and like a wife. And like BookTok, like the romance community has like really latched onto this. And there's like one TikTok personality in particular, Kira Lewis, and she is, one of the top creators in the space. And so she had been like making these like comments and like posts, essentially like sexualizing players, in particular, like naming players. Like she's just like, oh, look, this guy's hot. Like that's what like a lot of these go down to. And I guess like at some point, the social media team for the Seattle Kraken, looking for like more exposure and more marketing, realized like, oh, they're kind of talking about players. They're talking about Seattle Kraken players. And they teamed up with her to basically like do this kind of cross promotion, basically getting Seattle Kraken's like TikTok following bigger. And she like, in turn, like helped, kind of promote the team. They were doing like sponsored, I guess, posts where she was like, basically, there's a thing called face casting, which is basically like when like especially with erotic or like romance novels, people will put like celebrities like faces to the parts. It's kind of, and it goes beyond just like
is it just like
actresses.
People just like editing like a celebrity's face on like an existing like porn of something, or
kind of. There's like a little bit of like they'll replace the cover model's face with like the actor or the athlete or whatever.
Yeah, just imagine the line being read by a man and the guy's face being used in place of the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and like, or they'll do like the thing where they're like, oh, this is the story of like Blaze Johnson, and he's, he plays for the Seattle, like Thundercocks or whatever.
There's literally like a Marchand stand-in in one of those lines. It's just like when Marchand's on the ice, no one's safe. And I was just like, ain't no way, ain't no fucking way.
Yeah, so
what does this culminate into?
So what happened was that as this has like kind of been building, they like Seattle Kraken at one point flew out Kira Lewis to a game and they gave her a jersey and they were sharing like she was there on social media. She was like sort of like a featured celebrity. And I guess she made a TikTok at some point in which she like went and like really thirsted on a player named Alex Wennberg. He's a Swedish player.
It was bad.
Sexually harassed him, or
yes. Well, it's basically like if you swap the gender roles, this woman would be in prison.
It would be like, people regard it as disgusting.
It would be disgusting. It is kind of disgusting.
It is disgusting, but obviously people's acceptance of it changes a lot with gender.
I excuse it because I'm a very horny man and don't get that attention myself.
You haven't had your ass slapped and called it firm.
No, I haven't had my boy hole stretched in a long time.
Yeah, you go on Grindr and you're like, there's no matches. And
baby needs his hole stretched.
Can you imagine just like looking for someone to play the role of Marchand?
Okay, so talk more. So what? So this girl sexually harassed this player. What happened? I'm not comfortable with this. The details are getting a little.
So there's just one of my favorite lines in there is like, you see the comments on these TikToks because I have the thread that Wennberg's wife posted, not really thread, but the two pictures with like a small.
Oh, the guy is married. That's much
couple of
worse.
pages. Yeah, the whole thing is that he's married to this woman who found out about these very public thirstings sponsored by the Seattle Crack.
Yeah, so the thing is this woman, his wife has been getting upset because there's a lot of like horny women who are like into BookTok and like erotic novels who have been like actively thirsting after her celebrity husband. And I want to make that clear. There's this like idea with like especially hockey players, because hockey players, as I said earlier and previous podcasts, are inherently boring people, that they like for some reason think that because they make millions of dollars and they play in front of like 20,000 fans per game, that they're not celebrities because they're like, well, I'm a hockey player. I don't speak to the media.
I'm just on the ice. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the ice, and it's just like, fuck, man. No, you're not. You're a fucking celebrity. Like you are a public facing person. As long as you're in the league, you're essentially a public facing person. In fact, even if you leave the league, there's a chance that you're still, until like, a few years down the line, still kind of, in that consciousness.
You have to be. Like a lot of this, because this isn't basketball money a lot of the time. So I feel like hockey players are coached to be like, don't do anything to destroy your public image and don't insult the league.
That's the thing. So he, like, Alex Wennberg at one point was like, oh, hey, I've been trained, like media trained my whole career. I've been taught to bite my tongue and leave it to, instead of making a statement, but like, this has gone too far, which has only inflamed everyone, like, which has only made things worse. But here's the thing. It's worse in the sense that now there's more attention to it. Like, I didn't even know that this was happening until yesterday, in which I was like, what the fuck's going on? Like, I had no idea. And it was not until like essentially his wife and him made comments. Like, if he had just never said anything, or her and his wife had never like made a comment about it, I think this kind of just goes away. But because
Absolutely.
now there's attention to it, it all of a sudden becomes this thing. And the thing is, the NHL needs this. The NHL is losing like viewership. They're losing, people,
hemorrhaging viewership.
Yeah, they're losing to the MLS, which is
Not good.
So it's like, actually, you know what? The NHL needs to be going on and being like, we need more book talks. Like, we need more. I know that's not popular.
We need thirstier in here.
We need hornier women now.
Prep those holes, ladies. These hockey players are ready to bow.
The thing is that there's also the same kind of thirsty like stuff about like basketball players, right?
Absolutely.
But the thing is all the basketball players just embrace it. They're like, you know what? Yeah, I'll be a sex symbol. Like, that's the thing.
That's right. I do sling dick.
It's like Alex Wennberg. It's like, hey man, listen, you're 28. You got married probably young. You're in the midst of your first marriage.
First marriage. I hate the way you said that. In the midst of your first marriage. We know Malcolm's opinions on love.
They all got married to their high school sweethearts.
And all their high school sweethearts look the same.
They do, because they all grew up in usually small town Canada or Sweden or the US
or Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake.
Yeah, they're very blonde. I'm sure they're very sweet people, but at the same time, they're probably not very smart.
Their favorite song is My Church by Taylor Swift, like that kind of woman.
Yeah, exactly. They're just like, or they're like, listen, I don't understand why people don't like Morgan Wallen. Like,
My niece is all about Morgan Wallen, and I don't get it.
He just had a show here in Phoenix, and
$600 a ticket.
I met some people. I kind of had a night where I went out, and I met some people who went to the show, and they're just like, oh, I love Morgan Wallen. I'm like, okay. Why do you like it?
He got him on the fainting couch.
Did you have another Garth Brooks night? Like, is that what happened?
No, I did not. I just came home like very drunk. I didn't hook up with anybody.
Well, I'm glad to hear no one's mother was sacrificed to the altar of Delilah.
I got kicked out of a bar. That's about as much as happened.
It is a Morgan Wallen kind of night.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, I feel bad for Wennberg in terms of like not wanting that attention, but I think it's ultimately a good thing for the NHL that there's like communities that are not normally like hockey fans wanting like having like this kind of like, I'm not even sure if chaos is the right word, but
it's the right word.
Controversy, like just
it's chaotic enough. And here's the other thing too, is that there's a line in one of these book talks where I believe the woman is asking the hockey player to quote score in all 3 of her holes.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
the score in all 3 of my holes took me out. That's the name of a book.
No, that's just a comment of a horny woman.
Okay, so why is this a book talk? Where do books come in?
They're about like erotic novels, right?
Erotic
Like
hockey novel.
they're erotic hockey novels.
Someone
like,
out there is making a living writing, just writing erotic novels featuring hockey players.
And you're
Yes.
wasting your time with very insightful and thoughtful short horrors. That's
I'm
right.
gonna kill myself.
Listen, yeah, you look. That's the thing. There isn't a
Who's
market.
that writer that you plugged on this show that one time, Malcolm? The guy that's just like the even pastors eat pussy or something like that.
Oh, Quan Mills.
You're Quan
Yeah,
Mills.
Quan Mills,
Yeah, you write
Robert,
under
you could be the white Quan Mills.
No, White Quan Mills exists, and I'm trying to think of what his name is.
Yeah, and his name is Robert Delilah.
His name
the
Robert
fuck up.
Delilah.
Yeah.
You could
Just
be
like-
I
the
have a
Quan Mills,
friend.
too.
I have a writer friend. His name Andrew. Great guy, but he's also like one of the people who's like has been working on a novel for like 20 years, and he'll never finish it.
Same, brother.
Same, brother. But yeah, that's one of those things where like he did that for like a number of years when he was living in England, because he's an English guy. But he was living in England, and that's basically all he did was that he wrote, like he'd email publishing companies, or he'd write to publishing companies. It was a little before email was kind of like overtaken everything, but he'd write publishing companies and just like, hey, I'm interested in writing a novel for your publication. Where do I start? And they would just send him a format, like a cut and paste sort of, and then there's like he's left to fill in the blanks, and he made decent money doing that. I never do it, but as long as at this point I can't even blame him for like writing something he's actually passionate about for the last 20 years.
Yeah, like here's the thing, you got to supplement the income time somewhere. Just become, Robbie Thundercock, and then you write like stories about like, the Seattle Suck guys or whatever.
Oh,
You mean the Seattle Suck guys?
no, he doesn't. You bad boy, Malcolm. You got a head start on us, don't you?
He's got the material.
Yeah,
Give me a
you do that
fake
with any
player
other
name.
teams?
Let's roll
I'm
it.
writing it
Did you do
all:
that?
gay, straight, lesbian.
What's the name of your first novel? You got to tell me.
It's
Calgary gays.
Why
No.
not slippery like ice?
Ooh, yeah, that's you know what, you can have that. That's
I don't want it. It's just ice, erotic role playing, hockey.
The Vancouver Van Cucks.
the band.
Yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say mine was called the New York Bangers.
Mm.
We are so fucking stupid, boys.
We are
Let's
so
You can't do one with the Coyotes, so it's impossible. Well, Chicago's easy. Chicago's a gimme.
Yeah, that
What, the
one's
Chicago Bears?
No,
No.
the Chicago Blackhawks.
Oh, well, they can be Bears and Blackhawks as well.
I love it. It's like for a football one, you just don't even need to change it.
No, it's the Chicago
He's
Bears.
changing it up.
We'll get sued out to ass, but
Yeah, it's like, but they're doing the Super Bowl shovel, but it like just keeps cutting to just
they're
like
just
these-
cutting to gay sex.
Hell yeah, brother. I'm going to scratch this off as well, the improv for gay hockey names. That was on the list. Here's my next improv skit. I'm going to pretend I'm not gay. Hello, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing great. I am not a homosexual.
I don't like dick in my ass.
Of course, no. Niles.
Dude, gay Frazier. Incredible.
So Frasier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, there's like I'm just looking up the Super Bowl shovel where like there's a verse by a guy named Walter Payton. It goes like, "Well, they call me Sweetness, and I like to dance. Running the ball is like making romance. We've had the goal since training camp to give Chicago a Super Bowl champ."
I don't fuck men. I don't fuck men. I don't really fuck men.
And we're not doing this because we're greedy. The Bears are doing it to feed the needy.
Oh. All right, check this out. I got a real segment, though.
You do?
A real genuine segment here. A
But
genuine
yeah,
segment.
needless to say, I empathize with Alex Wennberg,
Oh, of
but
course.
I
Of course.
also, I just want to put that out there. But I also want to say that, like, the NHL, this is a great opportunity, and you
It's
need to.
peak comedy.
Yeah, if someone could, in Wennberg circle, forward this to Wennberg. Wennberg, if your wife is threatening physical harm on you, if you didn't come out and say that, I want you to blink twice in the next interview you do. Very opaquely, maybe with one eye.
3 sets of blinking twice. Let's call it that.
I want you to say sign and then cough, so we know it's you.
Harper's just eyes are glued to the TV. He's gonna do it, guys. I swear.
Yeah, watch, he's gonna do it. What if he does? You would shit yourself.
No, I genuinely would. I'd be like,
would shit
okay,
yourself.
I gotta call the authorities. Gonna make sure this guy's okay and gets a spot on the
that we
pod.
get, just the publicity that we would get. Arizona podcast saves Wennberg.
From domestic violence.
So the segment is a simple question. We're going to answer one by one.
Okay.
What is your most impulsive purchase? Malcolm?
Ooh, that's a good question. You know what? Actually, I feel like a lot of times it's like clothes. Like I'll buy like a jacket that's like maybe a little too expensive for what I should be buying.
Mhm.
But I'll be honest, the most recent purchase I made for myself that was a little more impulsive, like I didn't like think about it that much, was that I bought myself an e-scooter.
An e-scooter, nice.
Yeah.
Were you trying to beat the I'm straight allegations?
Just make sure you don't knock anyone off of False Creek. Just like you're whipping through.
Yeah,
no.
make sure you don't accidentally drive off a cliff.
Yeah, well, I want to go out the way that the
The Segway guy.
the Segway guy went out.
It's getting your brakes cut by a guy who wants to inherit your money.
Well, that's not the official story, Robert, and I think we can all talk about that when we're all a little bit more mature.
The official story is that he was off-roading with his Segway, and then he fell off a cliff.
There was an incident.
Yeah, he was
Some inconclusive evidence of
He was Paul
sabotage.
Blarding it. He was Paul Blarding. He was Blarding, brother.
You're looking for Colonel Kurtz, more like Colonel fucking.
Cut Robert babbling from other parts of this podcast into that part to make just one long babbling
not gonna
session
make
that
any
is
sense.
interrupted by me and Malcolm, and we'll just put this part in at the end. Just start going. Malcolm, ready to come. I see.
Fuck you. Anyway,
You
yeah,
mean
he
the
goes
General Lee.
flying off the cliff like General Lee, goes at the horn. And then like the end of the other guy, or not like the beginning of the other guys with The Rock and Samuel L. Jackson flying off the roof. It's like, there goes my hero. Watch him as he goes.
But that's just me falling off a cliff or me on an
Yeah, you
e-scooter.
falling like into False Creek and like
Just me
colliding your
falling into
head
the-
against like a boat.
Dirty water, just dirty water.
Dirty water. There's a seal there that keeps stealing fish or something.
How did you go about purchasing protective gear to ride the e-scooter with? Surely you're not just out there without a helmet and pads.
I do have helmet. I don't have any pads.
Dork.
Sorry.
But Malcolm, you should already have knee pads. I mean,
Yeah, I'm
You're
so
a carpenter after all.
Yeah, well, I'm trying to beat the LA.
Those are
You
tough
know,
allegations, man.
they keep saying that they see like women like leave it like and enter my apartment, and they look very satisfied.
They only
alright?
believe that's my mother for so
they
long.
all have a frown.
They all have a frown.
There's just like a really low stakes, like TMZ in Vancouver, which is like random minor celebrities. Extra.
There's another one, Marcus. Another one leaving with a Tim Hortons gift bag. All right. Robert, what was your most impulsive purchase?
My most, I should have probably thought more about this. I'd probably say like antique books.
How many copies of Lord of the Rings do you own?
Two separate 3-book copies, but that's not the one I'm talking about. What? The 2000, the
two
fucking
separate
new cover that
copies?
came out in 2019 was really cool.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm a nerd. Fuck
What
you.
is the antique book you purchased, and was it from Barnes and Nobles? That's not really antique, it's just ornate.
No, it was ordered as my antique copy of Don Quixote.
Okay, well, I guess if that's a good one to have, but it does kind of like
It's just, I guess. Like, is this like internet purchases, or would you prefer like in person? Because I bought a hat in Laguna Beach and I've never worn that.
no, it sounds pretty much more impulsive than an antique book you treasure.
Yeah, I'm also broke. So
Which book did you buy? You buy like
Don Quixote by Cervantes. It was like a copy from like the 1910s.
That's not very. I mean, there's older copies of Don Quixote.
Well, of course, yeah, it was written in the 1600s. Of course, they're older copies. They just don't like sell them to people. Like, I don't have the proper like. This is getting off topic.
No, it's not off topic. This is completely on topic. How many other antique books do you own?
I've got some in storage.
You in storage? Oh my god!
What a dork!
You don't keep them in your closet?
I don't have a lot of space where I live right now.
I wouldn't have a lot of space if I was trying to live there too.
What does that imply?
I don't even know what that means.
Do you think this is like a House of Gort situation where you've just got living furniture?
No, it's a Pee-wee's Playhouse situation where you have living furniture.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay. I remember watching Pee-wee's Big Adventure. I never watched the show when it was on.
I think that's probably the most watched movie while on marijuana. Like,
I bought an annotated copy of American Gods by Neil Gaiman. That's actually probably my most impulsive buy. That
Nice.
shit was not cheap.
What's the most expensive piece of clothing that you ever bought? But it's not like a suit, like something that you're like, I bought. Like, have you ever bought a like a $500 like shirt or something?
No, fuck
No.
that shit. I've
I
never.
don't believe in high fashion.
I don't got that money. I bought fuck. I mean, that's the thing. I also buy a lot of my clothing secondhand. This is just making me sound pathetic. Not there's anything wrong with buying secondhand. You get a lot of good stuff that obviously you're not paying full price for. But it's bad when most of your clothes, besides like the Kirkland t-shirts you buy in bulk, it's bad when it's like that.
Robert, listen, in my circles, that's called vintage shopping. All right.
Okay, I think my most expensive piece of clothing was probably a jacket. Half of it was covered by a gift card.
Oh my
It was
God.
like a $400 jacket that I got $200 covered for because it was my
Because you had a coupon.
it wasn't a coupon.
I
It was
got
a
a real
gift card.
That's not a
Coupon.
fucking impulsive purchase. I'm starting to think you're a very thrifty person.
I fucking am. I don't spend money I don't have.
What about you, Harper? Have you bought any shirts? or
Yeah, this
anything
got to
that-
be like building up to something. Oh, I once bought a watch in Hungary. Anyway,
What do you mean you bought a watch in Hungary?
from Hungary, not in Hungary, but it was
Oh, I was so excited there for a second that you had a
I was just like,
story.
the segment's saved.
no. It was a vintage Soviet Raketa,
Oh,
which is like a 24-hour dial face, and there was warehouse in Hungary, and they were getting rid of vintage watches, and I got a full gold band Casio and it was nice.
Can you sing the entirety of Katusha?
No, I cannot.
Well, I'm gonna have to ask you for that watch because you're a poser.
Yeah, the watch broke like 2 years ago.
Well, I'll still.
did you get it fixed?
No, I have the pieces. I should get it fixed. It's a really unique watch. Yeah.
I just looked up a picture. It's fair enough.
You've got the piece.
Yeah, my most impulsive purchase is probably a small library of Western erotic games on Steam. I will not tell you the account name, but it is rather expensive and expansive, much like the women after
The women in it.
games are played. Yeah, the women in it. That's much funnier.
Well, you don't have to be a looker to be a prostitute in that Wild West. Movies and TV aren't exactly applicable.
My actual most impulsive purchase is probably this leather jacket I got at the Macy's in New York, just to say that I got something there. I thought it looked so cool, and I didn't like look in a mirror. I think I must not have when I had it on, because it's like a fake sweatshirt underneath that zips on the leather jacket. You know what I mean?
Does it look like it would go well with a fedora?
Yeah, it would.
Oh, buddy.
And I don't fit in it no more on account of me being a fat bastard. So I got this leather jacket hanging up perpetually in a closet. Perfectly good leather jacket. And I've worn it like 3 times.
You also live in like the hottest state
Yep.
in the U.S.
But I tell you what, I got at the Macy's in New York. This sweet leather jacket.
Hell yeah.
Well, I got to tell you, it is not the move.
I mean, I own a leather jacket, but it was just my dad's from the 80s. So it's got shoulder pads.
So that's actually cool. Like that's a cool move to be
It's a
like,
cool
I have
leather
this.
jacket.
That's a cool like a leather jacket from the 80s is cool. I feel like buying a new leather jacket isn't cool.
Mm.
I did have a girl once that I saw for a little bit, and she was super insistent on me. She's like, "Hey, Malcolm, you gotta buy a leather jacket." I was like, "Why are you obsessed with me buying a leather jacket?" Like,
Malcolm, you got to be a leather boy for me.
You'd look so tops in that leather jacket.
Hey, daddy-o.
hey, daddy, yeah. She wanted
look
me
so
to have
cool.
that like pompadour hairstyle. It was
That
like,
would be
crazy.
on you, Malcolm. That would look insane, and I would.
People would assume
I
that
mean-
people would assume that I was going to like an anime convention. Like,
You
that's what it was.
might as well just wear a pin on your shirt that says men's rights activists.
Malcolm, you'd have to switch to contacts if you started wearing a pompadour because a pompadour with glasses just don't jive, does it?
Okay, Malcolm usually wears contacts.
Yeah, I do wear contacts.
You do?
Yeah, I usually wear contacts.
I've never seen Malcolm without glasses on.
That's fair. On the computer, I use like my glasses. 'Cause I've got the
Half moon
little
readers.
the fill.
You
Yeah,
get the blue light, meters, yeah.
filter, which may or may not work, but I think it works.
I believe in it.
It's a reason that I used to never wear contacts, and then I started wearing contacts because I did a show once, like early on when I was like performing, and I broke my glasses on stage, and I was
Oh.
really fucked because I was like 15 minutes into an hour and a half show. I was like, oh no.
Fucking, you're just stumbling through the rest of it.
Yeah, like I was like, oh shit. And luckily the company that I was working at paid for new glasses. But after that, I was like, oh, I have to just start wearing contacts, and then kind of haven't gone back.
I'm
But
gonna get you colored contacts, Malcolm.
Wear the colored contacts like that one TikTok guy who just scares people
Oh, dude,
accidentally.
that is the funniest fucking video. There's no such thing as the coincidence. And a woman walks out, she's like, "Oh, I'm
It's just
sorry."
like, oh, I'm sorry.
She fucking
It's so
screams.
funny. He's a freaky looking guy.
He looks like a JoJo character on purpose. It's
Yeah.
really funny.
He does, yeah.
Oh fuck! You bring up some good point. Sorry, Malcolm. I just have to acknowledge this, and we have to talk about it for at least 8 minutes here.
I still haven't read a response on the autofill.
On the what?
On the autofill.
Autofellatio.
Wow, okay. That whatever you get up to is your business.
Well, Robert, it's my peephole, and whatever you do on the other side of the wall is your business.
Well, that's why they call me the bull.
That's why they call you Ribless Delilah.
I had to describe to someone recently in person what a bull was in contextual talk.
Yeah, your mom must have been shocked.
It's your wife's boyfriend. Is just you can just distill it down to that.
Wait, whose ex-boyfriend?
No, it says your wife's boyfriend. You could just distill it down to that.
Yeah, I was like, like it was like, yeah, if you were the cuck, then I'm the bull. And then he goes, "What's that?" And I'm like, "Oh my god,
Oh fuck! Now this joke isn't funny because I have to explain it.
this is not a joke. This is just a story. This is just something that happened in my life,
I know. I know.
guys. I had a lot of trauma."
What does
Okay.
that mean? So when my wife's friend Daniel brings me new Switch games, she's doing what with him?
Anyway,
Yeah, we
So
have to.
sad. A guy who's getting cucked and he doesn't know he's getting cucked. He just thinks he's a really cool friend who buys him video games.
Yeah, he even takes my girlfriend and distracts her while I get to crack into it because she never lets me play.
Yeah, God, I hate my wife. Good thing I have my friend Jeremy here, who he runs defense or he runs interference while I get some game time.
So we haven't talked about this. The government has been in hearings with a whistleblower who claims that we've recovered.
Oh yeah, we're getting to the aliens thing. Yeah.
Yes, Robert, we're getting to the aliens.
you seem like so disappointed by the aliens. You're just like,
No, I'm just.
"Oh, aliens.
He's
Oh."
probably sick to death of talking about it,
I'm
but I
just-
would like to.
I am
for
a
moment.
little bit, but it's not a big deal.
Wait,
I
have
would
you
like
been
to-
talking about it a lot? Is that what's going on?
Yeah, Robert hangs out with the kind of crowd that would be talking about aliens a lot.
Yeah. Are you guys all like, hey, we're going to drive over to Roswell soon and just hang out, just
He's
check
like,
out the scene?
Roswell at this time of year. The question is, what
Okay.
what kind of aliens did they discover? a lot of naysayers are saying that they may have recovered non-human organics, but that they could be from Earth and non-human, which is sort of like a weird mole people.
Yeah, mole people, Hollow Earth kind of shit.
I think that it's a very funny scenario because, well, first of all, the Hollow Earth thing is something that's been like as old as time itself. Like as long as there's been recorded history, there's been people who are like, "Oh, well, the Earth is completely hollow." And I wanted to get your guys' opinion, right? Because they're, according to New Age believers in the species, it's a different subset of species. There's all kinds of aliens. This could be. It could be Arcturians from Arcturus, of course. They're like gray aliens, except they're blue and very nice. Not like the Greys, who are gray and very mean. Do you follow?
Or Tralfamadorians from Slaughterhouse 5.
That's very funny, Robert. I'm being serious.
I like.
It could be the Pleiadians, who are just space Aryans.
Yeah, supposedly from the constellation or the stars of Pleiades. Yes, I get it.
I don't even understand what's happening. Like, I'm gonna be like completely honest. I've said that multiple times.
Well, I was about to ask you.
Well, you're already not a fantasy guy. Something tells me you're also not a sci-fi guy, and aliens don't concern you in your day-to-day whatsoever.
I like the idea of aliens maybe more in like a horror context. Like, my thing is I think the terrifying thing is like that they're most likely like any sort of like alien species that could have made it to Earth. I feel like it's going to be almost like a gelatinous, like jellyfish substance. Like it's not going to be humanoid on any level. It's going to be like just something else. It's going to be something like you would find like deep down at like the bottom of the ocean.
What if they're octopuses?
Octopi?
And they could be.
Octopus.
What if like an octopus got sent into space accidentally for whatever reason? Who knows? And then the NASA's just like, it's not human.
I know it's not NASA. It's like, yeah, NASA set it up, and then it's like some other space program, like the Chinese space program or the Russian space program, and then NASA just identifies it as like, that's not human.
It's the dog that the cosmonauts sent up there.
Oh no, Laika, no.
Yeah, like everyone knows about that because of the Marvel and Space Dandy inclusion. What's her name in the Guardians of the Galaxy? It's like Cosmo or Comet or something like that.
Oh yeah, Cosmo the dog.
Just speaks with a Russian accent. It's like a one-to-one thing. It's like another tribute to the kindness of Russians. That story.
At least they euthanized it like in the air. It's not like they just let it starve to death in space.
So my bet for funny aliens to have been the non-humanoid pilot of these saucer cubes that people keep describing is the Egyptians. Like space Egyptians.
Oh yeah, the guy with the giant heads, the thing that the headdresses are supposed to be like fashioned after.
Do we have anything in the form?
Yes,
I feel like
let me read a response.
We can save this with the form and then move on.
Okay, so this is a response from a listener by the name of Sean Hawley, Holi, and Sean spelled not like SEAN, not like some of the weird ways I've seen it.
What, do you want to give us his address too? Holy moly, just get on with the question.
I'm sorry, I was just going to make a little tangent about how some people spell Sean weird. Sorry.
Yes, I might fall asleep.
Fuck you. Okay, so the song recommendation they have is Marlon Brando by Alex Cameron.
Nice.
And their question is this. Is it just me, or does Robert have the vibe of an elven femboy? I know he loves fantasy, and it's my fantasy to see him this way. If Robert is an elven fanboy in my fantasy, what are Harper and Malcolm? Are they elven femmen or elven fembears? I don't think they're either. I think they're the orcs that are spit roasting me.
Very sexy. Very sexy.
Cut it there. Cut it there.
What?
Cut it there.
What is
Very
that?
Well, Robert's read enough erotica to know that there can't be elf on elf sexuality. It has to be orc on elf, or else it's not a power play. I think Malcolm and I are probably better cast as hobbits for several reasons. One being that we both have disproportionate portions in our body parts, and because I have no off ramp.
Cut the fucking fuck.
Hola, hermosa dama. ¿Quieres improvisar una escena conmigo? Seré un hombre que quiere tu taco.